In this video, I'm going to try to help you do just one thing. Still fez. So since the beginning of this whole situation, and by situation I don't mean, the situation that's going on with the meta in 9th edition, I'm talking about the situation, the overall pandemic thing that pretty much all of us are dealing with in some fashion. But during this, there seems to be two types of people. Now, that is thrown around a lot. Oh, there's two types of people and that kind of thing. And to be fair, this is not a binary thing. This is a situation where you're not either this person or that person. Some days you're this person, some days you're that person. Sometimes you're a little bit in the middle. But there seems to be two main states. Maybe they're opposite ends of the spectrum amongst the hobby folk and how they're handling what's going on, globally. There are those who are absolutely happy, not happy about the pandemic, don't get me wrong, but happy about the downtime. They are looking at this aspect of like, well, I don't have any, maybe I'm working from home, maybe I'm not, but my free time is leaving me kind of here at the house more than in the usual. I'm not going out to plays. People go to plays, right? I don't, but, I'm not going out to concerts. I'm not going out to all kinds of things. I'm not traveling, all that kind of stuff. And those people are looking at this time now and they're saying, cool, it's not great, but at least now I have the time to get my army painted or my squads built or my terrain decided on and figured out and finished and varnished and all kinds of different things. There's a lot of hobby things that you can do during this downtime if you've got access to the materials and if you've got access to the time. Some people, are having to still work quite a bit, and also they've got family and maybe their kids are school age, so they got to help with all that stuff, and it doesn't work great for everybody. But for those people who do have, unfortunately, a lot of downtime because we can't go and do the things we want to do or that we normally do, this can be seen as a good thing, and it can help people get things done. And hobby sales are up. Games Workshop is more of an 800-pound gorilla than a canary in a coal mine sort of situation, but sales are up, their stocks are up, all this kind of stuff. But I've talked to plenty of folks in the industry as well who don't work at Games Workshop who are also seeing expanded sales in paints and brushes and supplies like that and models. There are smaller companies that are kind of struggling because they're in a situation where normally they make a lot of their money going to conventions and they can't do that now. But for the people who are able to sell online or sell direct or sell to stores, they're finding that right now a lot of people want their stuff. And so that's pretty good. And it's meaning that the people who are sitting at home who are like, now I've got the time, are taking it and making things happen. They're buying paints, they're buying models, and they're probably doing stuff with them, most likely, hopefully. But then I mentioned that spectrum. There are people on the other end, the other type of people. You got the one type of people and the other type of people, like I said, two types. But again, it's a spectrum. The people on this end are finding it very difficult to get anything done right now because there's a lot of worry out there about all kinds of different things, people's health, the health of the economy, the health of all kinds of different industries and businesses, and the people that are related to those things, and, how's your family doing? And all of these different things can weigh on you and make it so that you are not particularly interested in even doing the things that you enjoy that would probably take your mind off of some of the things that are worrying you. Minds work in certain ways, and sometimes it doesn't seem like it's the most logical way, but it's still the way that your brain works. Now, I know I've said that there's two types of people, but I think there's actually a third type of person, and that's the person who's decided to start streaming on Twitch. And the reason for that is because now I have a schedule, Monday nights, 7 p.m. Central, Friday mornings, 10 a.m. Central, where I've got to get things ready to go because people are going to be there to watch. So I've got to have stuff primed, ready to paint. I've got to have things ready from last time to be ready for this time. And giving yourself that kind of schedule does help if you're one of those people that's really good at sticking to schedules. And I like consistency, repetition. It seems sometimes I'm not. I dislike things going awry, or changing schedule, or changing in any way. You may have that issue as well. But now that I've set myself up as a Twitch streamer doing this 2 days a week, sometimes more, I now follow that. And so that's kind of pushed me from being the person that frankly was kind of having a hard time hobbying because of concerns and things weighing on me from the big global, hootenanny. This has helped. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go out and become Twitch streamers. I'm not telling you not to. It's cool. It's fun. It might help you out just because it gives you people, hopefully in chat, to be able to conversate with a little bit while you're painting and doing stuff and things like that. So, if it's not that, maybe it's some other content creation. I did a video a number of years ago about are you actually interested in becoming a content creator? Pachow, you should check that out because there's some interesting information there. But if you're not particularly ready to become a content creator, and that's not going to be the thing that drives you to keep your hobby doing, and now that's just another thing, the fact that you're not doing your hobby, even though you have this time, that's just another thing weighing on your psyche. You are the people I'm hopefully trying to help here, and I don't know. Hopefully I'll be successful. The first idea has a little bit to do with content creation, but it's not particularly difficult content creation. There is this hashtag called HobbyStreak, which is on Twitter. And what that does is people will post what they did today and the number of their hobby streak. This is HobbyStreak Day 27, HobbyStreak Day 28. And it's generally, people try to do about roughly at least a half hour worth of something and then post about it on Twitter pretty much every day. So that is kind of the accountability. That is the maybe driving force. Maybe you're just like, I'm just not feeling it today. You've got the time potentially. Again, if you don't have the time because you've got 2 jobs and 4 kids and they're all in school and all that stuff, I totally understand. Now is maybe not the time for you to also be trying to concern yourself with a hobby and just have another thing kind of like wearing on you. Put your head down and work and see what you can do. See if you can get help from other folks to help you out with the family and the job and all kinds of things. Get help if needs be. But if you're thinking to yourself daily, I'm bored and I have all this time, but I'm just not painting those models that I've got over there on that table, then maybe trying to do a little bit, okay, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and then accountability through something like Twitter and getting on that hashtag. Something like that can help you quite a bit to keep you motivated, even if you're just doing kind of the bare minimum every day. Maybe some days you just reorganize your hobby space. I'll tell you right now that counts. Just in case you were looking for a ruling, I'll allow it. So, think about something like that. Again, you're not becoming a content creator, you're just sharing social media with the rest of the world. Tons and tons and tons of people do it, and maybe you might want to think about doing it as well to be something that can help to keep you motivated moving forward when we're all kind of sitting around and sort of stuck going nowhere. But let's say you hate Twitter, which a lot of people do, I'm liking Twitter better. I don't like Facebook anymore, but that's neither here nor there. What I could tell you to do if you're not going to get social media involved at all is to look at doing one thing. And it doesn't even have to be every day, but when you think about, I've got nothing going on, there's nothing on TV or Netflix, or I've watched all of the YouTube and got to the last video or whatever, and now you're like, I don't know what to do, and you're looking across the room or down into the basement or wherever it is you keep your hobby stuff in a drawer, and you're just looking at it and you're like, I'm going to tell you to do one thing. Pick up a model and scrape off just the mold lines on just the pants, or scrape off the mold lines maybe on the whole model. Or just one part of it, like there's the main part, but then the arms and the head get glued on separately. So just do the main body and then, see where it takes you. Picking up and telling yourself, nay, tricking yourself into thinking, I'm just going to do one thing. It's going to take 5-10 minutes tops. I'm just going to paint the boots on this one guy, Great. And if you only do that and you don't end up tricking yourself and you end up just painting boots and then you're done, you close up your wet palette, you wipe out your brush, and that's all you did because that's all you could get yourself to do, you're still getting things done. You're still moving forward and you're going to feel better about it as you do it. But the thing is that when I talk about tricking yourself, very frequently, if you paint the boots, well, you could paint the pants now too. I mean, they're right there. It's not even that far away. It's a color change, admittedly. You have to grab the other paint and maybe put it on the wet palette a little bit and clean out the brush. But, it's not that far. It's right there on the same model. Or if you're smart, and I hope you are, and you're painting a bunch of models, I always think it's the best bet to do them as a assembly line. Don't just paint one model, complete it, and then start the second model. I like to paint multiple models at once. And the reason for that is because then when it's down time to paint the boots, let's say there's 5 sets of boots. Like, I'm not going to just paint this guy's boots. I still got the paint on the palette. I got the paint on the brush. I might as well do the second guy's boots and the third guy's boots and the fourth guy's boots. Telling yourself you're just going to do one thing and trying to force yourself to get to that point. And it's not easy. Especially in these times, it is not easy when you are in a situation with potentially anxiety, depression, any of these types of things. It can be very, very difficult. But if you can get yourself kind of over that hump and just be like, I'm going to just do one thing. Even if you only do the one thing, it's still a thing that you did. And if it's something that then leads to doing 2 things, and then maybe 3 things, and hopefully going on from there, you're going to get some more motivation and you're going to bring hopefully some enjoyment back into your life. That's what this whole hobby is about. Hobbies in general shouldn't be work. They may be difficult, they may be challenging, but they shouldn't be work. They should be something that you enjoy. So if you completely can't even with the hobby, then maybe it's time to think about looking at other hobbies or something like that. Absolutely. Or maybe it's time to put it away. Don't have it out there where it's, mocking you, sitting there on your workbench. Put it in a tub and wait until you get better motivated or something along those lines. And maybe that'll never happen. Maybe that stuff ends up on eBay, and that's okay as well. But if you are just like, I've got all this stuff, I spent money on this, I got paints and everything, all this stuff's just sitting there and I'm not doing it. Just try to do one thing. It can be daunting to sit down and say, we got to paint this army. But if you got to paint a pair of boots, or you got to paint a helmet, well, then maybe you're going to paint 2 helmets, and then maybe you'll paint 3 helmets, and then maybe you will have tricked yourself into going forward and getting more things done, and you'll feel better about everything. And that's what I want for basically everybody who's watching this video. I want, especially in these times, for everybody to feel better about themselves. So try to just do one thing and see where it takes you.